What's up? What's up, Sector? What's up? MU6. Mu6? How about Mu6? Hope you guys are doing well. There I am. Hey, Pluto. Adventure indeed. Back at it with the one shot today. You just found one of my shorts and saw you were live, first time tuning in. Well, welcome. So, I stream pretty much every day, often twice a day. Afternoon streams currently sort of center around me writing, developing this one shot that I've been working on. At night, the nightly stream is usually crafting. On Thursdays, I do miniature painting. And lately, on Friday and Saturdays, I've been playing games. So, all D&D related. So, yeah. Thanks for checking it out. Glad you dropped by. What am I doing to create a new? Why am I not able to do what I want to do? And also, don't listen to anything Pluto says, just as a rule. Why is that? Okay, hold on a second. Ulysses acting up on me. Okay. There, I got it back. All right. Feels like it's been forever since not a new group I want to duplicate. Feels like it has been forever since I worked on this thing, but I think it's only been since Friday. So I am going to start from the top. It's true. We wouldn't have, which is up here on the shelf. I just need to get it properly lit, but it is up there in the darkness. Okay. So whatever this is, name TBD. It is a one-shot and drop-in adventure for low-level play. This adventure is designed for a group of players from levels 1 to 3, either as a standalone one-shot or as an early adventure dropped in to a larger campaign. Still figuring out the name. During this adventure, your players will attempt to track down a missing family of zoologists, fight off a cottage full of curious creatures and maybe return them to their cages, piece together the events that led to each member of the family disappearing, find a hidden cellar after being eaten by a staircase monster, identify a mysterious substance that can teleport the party one way to far-flung corners of the world, and ultimately discover the missing family members travel to the Feywild where the party can then choose to follow. At the end of this adventure, there will be a number of loose story threads that you can use to run more adventures with your players. See after the adventure for ideas on where to take the story next. About the adventure, running the adventure, after... Okay. Yeah, nothing I need to change here right now. And I think where we are, basically in terms of I have story and characters drafted, creature research drafted, prep stuff drafted, intro and part 1, and I think I'm basically halfway through part 2. So I think that's where I'm going to jump in. And for brief context, part 2 is really where the big investigation chunk of the one-shot takes place. The first part, the party basically walks into a cottage, and it's chaos. All of these creatures, exotic magical creatures, are loose. They have to fend them off, calm them down, get them secure again. That doesn't really involve cages as much as it is like sort of understanding how each of the creatures works and how to make them calm. Do you only work on this on stream? Yeah, the stuff at this point, I mean, aside from very, very minor things, I'm pretty much only working on the stuff on stream. Might want to do the end off stream in case some people who want to play it are watching. Maybe, but it's also, I mean, that's a little bit of the, I guess, the risk I run doing it this way, but I think it's probably worth it to expose the whole process than to try to because I don't really hide anything. Like, if somebody wanted to, when I actually get about to releasing this, nobody really needs to, ever buy it. They could just, I guess, piece it together from watching the streams. That seems like that would take more work, though. In terms of players, I'm not worried about that. Okay. Part 2, investigating the cottage. Once the creatures in part 1 are dealt with, let the party know they are free to explore the cottage. About. The party is free to explore the cottage. I think for distribution, it's basically going to be, anywhere, everywhere, all at once type of thing. That's my general approach to this. There's definitely some more that I'll need to dig into eventually about what I need to include license-wise. What I touch on, I've kept things, I think, mostly clean of a whole lot of protected terminology. They're all my own monsters, but obviously I'm using some ideas that are not. So I don't know exactly how much leeway I have for some of that stuff, but I think the core value here is the ideas. The other stuff is workable. So yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I have some idea, right? It's not going to be unreasonable. It's more about what I'm making is a PDF at its core, but I'll probably also have some print materials, probably some digital tokens. I don't know exactly how all of that will be split up, And it's all an experiment, so we'll see and use what I learn here to go forward with. So once the creatures in part 1 are dealt with, the party is free to explore the cottage however they'd like. The first floor and the second floor loft have breakdowns of which clues the party can find. Aim for fewer investigation checks. As the players explore, try to resist asking for too many checks. If we ask for an investigation check before revealing a clue to the players, we risk them rolling poorly, hitting a dead end. Could always ask everyone to roll. If we end up asking for players to roll until somebody succeeds, okay. If we ask for an investigation check before revealing clue, I think it's better in the simpler way. Finding clues is fun. We want the players to find every clue. Piecing together what the clues mean is where the challenge lies. What's up, Twins Deal? Hey, yeah, happy Monday afternoon to you, T. As the players explore, try to resist asking for too many checks. Finding clues in this adventure is fun, not difficult. We want the players to find every clue they look for. Piecing together what the clues mean is where the challenge lies. If we ask for an investigation check before revealing a clue, we risk bad rolls. If we ask for an investigation check before revealing a clue, we risk bad rolls leading to clues staying hidden. Players explore, try to resist asking for too many checks. Too many skill checks. If we ask for an investigation check before revealing a clue, we risk bad rolls leading to clues staying hidden. Finding clues in this adventure is fun. Is meant to be fun, but not difficult. We want the players to find every clue they look for. Piecing together what the clues mean is where the challenge lies. Okay. Save the checks for when they ask questions and begin to investigate the clues they have found. Okay, that works. Let's leave that. Okay. Here on the first floor of the Goodman's Cottage, there are 4 areas. There are 4 main spaces in the Pluto. Yeah, that's pretty normal for schooling at the level that T's teaching at. Yeah. Yep, pretty normal. Really rough. The further out you lived. I lived out in the country for a little while when I was a kid, and you're talking a good hour plus on the bus just to get to school. It's pretty brutal. I was like first one on the bus, furthest out. Don't miss those days. There are 4 main spaces on the first floor. Entryway, floor to ceiling. Exactly. There are 4 main spaces on the first floor. I call it the... It doesn't need to be a door, so we're not going to have access to front door. Maybe some sort of like sort of closet, cupboard. Maybe we need a fancy new word. Hey, what's up, Roche? How's it going? Packs and tools hang on the wall next to... Sounds good, T. Drive safe. It's a good name for garden. Yes, I do. No, not yet. What's a name for... I'm trying to think. So I'm imagining like tools and things hung up on a wall. But a way of describing that, I guess it could just be storage. I guess it could just be yeah, but in this case the tools would be like pickaxes and packs, and there's some literal like piping that's running along the wall next to like a hand crank. It's sort of this, it's kind of a utility area. It's just weird that it's in the cottage, but yeah, I think. Okay. Oh no, there's a word for this. Hold on, wait. There's a word for this. Shoot. All right, I'm just gonna go with I'm just gonna go with utility area then. For now. What looks like gardening equipment hangs on the wall next to a series of pipes. Connected to a hand crank. Clear pipes. Okay. And then probably the not a lab. Research maybe. Okay, there are 4 main spaces on the first floor for the party to investigate. The utility corner, what looks like gardening equipment, hangs on the wall next to a series of pipes connected to a hand crank. Bookshelves. Tall shelves tower over a large wooden table near the center of the room. An overstuffed chair sits under the only window in the room that isn't boarded up. Grandfather clock sits crooked on the wall next to a set of winding stone stairs leading up. Utility corner, bookshelves, reading chair, corner staircase. Bookshelves. Reading chair. And the corner staircase. Okay. So when I'm writing out these areas of the first floor, I'm also thinking about I'm building this cottage, I'm building this floor plan out. That's going to be both what I use to run it, but also the reference for making additional maps. So I'm sort of thinking about what fits into that space the best. Okay, so I'm also going to move in tools. Hey, acidic dwarf. This is that one shot, yeah. No, I don't think I'll keep the the fonts. This will all move into a like a 2-column, hopefully. I've started on it once before. Some basic layouts for an InDesign document to put all of this into, which will hopefully look really nice with all of the miniature and terrain stuff that I'm putting together as the art. And yes, if I didn't answer you, acidic dwarf, yes I am. We're on part 2, the investigation. And I am moving the tools into this utility area. Started making some terrain of XPS, trying to make something that is modular. Nice. That is a good goal. On the floor and ceiling. Hey Andrew, I am working on a one-shot design, a one-shot that I hope to release eventually. A hissing sound. This hissing sound is coming from a broken pipe on the wall near a set of tools. Hanging. Hissing sound is coming from a broken pipe on the wall near a set of tools. And music. Do I know about data merge in InDesign? I don't think so. What's that? Cool. Yeah, every time I've worked with InDesign in the past, I did some layout stuff. This past summer, I was working on a few different one-shot concepts, which I plan to go back to at some point. But the issue I ran into was I started too early, I think, in InDesign, just to sort of lay things out, and I ended up actually like writing inside of InDesign, which I really didn't like. So this one, I'm sort of pushing myself to make sure I have everything that I want written outside of any sort of layout tool. You know, at least drafted. I'm sure I'll do additional drafts and things like that, but I want to maintain copy outside of it. Sounds like you have some experience with that. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I know just enough to be dangerous. My background is a little bit more in user experience work, but you know, I dabble. I have since school with just enough Adobe software to be dangerous and make some things that I can imagine. And you know, I know enough to know what I don't know, I guess. Yeah, I would say on the UI UX side, I'm really more of from the less layout and design and more sort of research and user testing, so test building and you know, survey work. Definitely sort of like analysis and write-ups. So a little bit less on like the, I mean, I guess you could call it like maybe like the admin or business side or something. I don't know how I would classify it. Sort of so many. Yeah. Also a lot of writing. Definitely a lot of writing and analysis in there too. But yeah, when it comes to Adobe, my experience is basically, you know, Photoshop I've used every year of my life since I stole it when I was a kid. I think if you're old enough, everybody's experience with Photoshop was downloading it when they didn't have the rights to use it. Personally, I think Adobe is probably fine with that. And I've used a couple different like page layout softwares over the years. Did like, you know, newspaper and stuff in high school, so that was fun. But InDesign is the one I've probably spent the most time in since then, and obviously like video editing stuff, I prefer Premiere, but Andrew with a plot inspired by Stray. Cocoon, and it's a creature, says he's a guard for the king, later seen other because of the city's abandonment. Yeah, man. Definitely. Is that something you're going to run with or just playing around with ideas? Yeah, I think so. I think you could definitely run with that. Hey, good for you having that focus, though. My day's going great. How are you? Ooh, that sounds very nice. 3 more packs are hanging on the wall. I'm gonna go refresh my coffee. I'll be right back. Just 2 minutes. Boy, you guys been keeping busy. Good for you. Yeah, a few in there. Okay. Glass pipes. The glass pipes running along the walls are cracked in one spot near the ceiling where it sounds like air is escaping. The pipes connect. The glass pipes running along the walls connect to a hand crank built in. Running along the walls built into them. Worn backpacks and dirty mining tools hang on the wall nearby. The glass pipes make the room feel a bit like a gerbil cage. They run along the edges of the room on the floor and ceiling, seem to have been repaired in a number of places. A fresh crack in the pipe near the ceiling gives off a whistling sound and appears to be where the feral echo escaped from. Once the creature is secured in the pipes again, it will flow from the room like an angry cloud. I'm going to cut this out of there and move it. All right, good luck. See you, twin. The pipework is broken, allowing it to leak out into the room. was I? Here. A rusty hand crank is connected to the pipes that run throughout the room. When turned in one direction, it will push air out, and in the other direction, it will pull air back in. Three worn packs with frayed straps are hanging on the wall, each with words drawn on them in thick black letters. For 1 week, for 1 month, for question mark. Each. How about 1 week, 1 month, question mark. Each pack is filled with rations and water. Each pack is filled with think we need 4 worn packs. Hang on hooks. Each is labeled 1 week, 1 month. Yeah, trying to hint at a lot with just this. 3 worn packs hang on hooks on the wall. Each hook is labeled 1 week, 1 month, and 3 months. An empty 4th hook is labeled question mark. Each pack is filled with rations and water. More rations and water than the last. In this case, trying to connect this to, and we'll use language and stuff to draw back to it. Maybe even colors of bags, potentially. But the idea is that depending on where Charlotte thinks she's going to be jumping to through the portal, she basically has these prepared, like, how long do I think I'm going to be gone? Is this a week? Is this a month? The idea that she would be, sort of jumping someplace that would require 3 months of travel back kind of gives an indicator of how much danger there is in just leaping through these portals. And then dirty mining tools will clue into the idea that there's been some work done in the house. There's also a spool of adhesive wrap that could be used if the party doesn't improvise another way to seal up the glass piping to pull the feral echo back in. It's not, though. It's really, it's on that edge of like finding a way to describe something versus what it is once you take a closer look at it. So, like, what does coral look like? Well, from a distance, as you're surveying a room, it's going to look like a gnarled tree root. But upon closer examination, it's actually blah blah blah. So part of sort of the there's like a zoom in, zoom out thing akin to like a what I always tend to go for is something that feels more like a point and click adventure, where it's like, yeah, over there looks like something interesting, and if you focus in on it, now you get the details. In my experience, roles for perception and investigation aren't really necessary because players are naturally going to be drawn to certain things and forget about and ignore other things, and that just tends to work out. A pock-marked rock. That's a good way to describe it. Okay, how do I do this? So I probably need each of these descriptions, and then I can try to summarize. That might be the faster way to do it. And for a snake that is using the water, it'd probably be like a this is the chunk of coral is where the Toctopus hangs out. So after shocking and attempting to help the party, this is where it crawls back to. It doesn't have like a cage. It's polite. In fact, Hey Christian, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. I am working on a one-shot. Thanks for the links construct. Sounds good, Construct. Good luck. None yet. I just have them. I have them sitting up here on the shelf in the darkness. I realized. I'm like, oh, that's probably, maybe that's not a great place to feature them. But I don't really have a lot of spots that aren't like just backlit back there, so I'm not sure if I can make it super clear. But I do have plans to make a big chonky, at least one chonky foam step to go along with it, because I think that'd be fun to see side by side. And I can just use what T made as a template. Just need to find a big enough chunk of foam. That I might have to buy. I might have to find like 3-inch foam. Yeah, that'd be cool. And it's big enough that I can probably magnetize the two things together. I'll just have to put the foam on the bottom and have hers on top. I was super impressed with just how dang close it was, given that she's never handled any of the foam steps. That would be painstaking to try to and at a certain point you just have to go with it. And it worked. It worked great. Christian, you're working on a mainly homebrew campaign, so in all the places I create, I try to insert something that makes it special. For example, every major town has got a unique feature. That is a great way to approach it. But what can you do with small towns that the PCs want to make it feel more alive? Yeah, construct, that was cool. So every major town has got a unique feature, but what can you do with small towns? So when you say a unique feature, what's an example of what you mean by that, Christian? Because you're talking about like a major town has a unique feature. I'm curious what does that mean? Because I could assume what you mean by that, but it might help if you give me an example. Some towns are just towns. Yep, see you later. Constructs, catch you later. Capital City has the King's Castle, who secretly is the big bad, and the city is the center point of the campaign. Everything else leading back to another city is basically a big black market around a giant casino run by a vampire. Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, small towns, again, small towns can be sort of mundane, and if you're looking for a gimmick, I tend to take inspiration from, kind of weird and odd things, almost like the Twilight Zone, or maybe even think kind of like Star Trek, like every planet they visit. Star Trek is effectively it's they might as well be a ship at sea, right? Every island they get to is some weird story. So you kind of view towns the same way, or any location, I guess, but maybe try to think about some kind of odd lore or story, or even just like a threat that a town is under. Especially small towns, all it takes is a particularly persistent and vicious like band of bandits could really put a stranglehold on a town. Maybe you go through a place and it turns out like, wait, why is every purchase like some of the gold set aside into these like red jars? And you look around, it's like every house outside of it has a red jar, and it's like, well, yeah, that's the bandits come through every week, and if we don't have things set aside for them, they give us a lot of trouble. And now the party's like, well, wait, this is horrible. Why don't you guys get help or whatever? It's like, well, they've got this particularly powerful, necromancer. Maybe they just, something, right? And if every place has a little something like that, that gives the player something to latch onto, and then you can sort of connect it to, other villains or other stories that are going on. And it doesn't have to all be bad. Some of it could be good. Maybe it's, there's a particularly good, maybe it's a town that grows a specific type of crop or item that means that, everybody in that town, there's a specific tea or coffee that they drink, and people just, a certain time of day are just tripping out on the illusions that this coffee gives them, and that's just a regular fact of life for them because that's what they grow and sell. And then obviously you can develop those ideas and make them bigger or smaller, right? But think about it episodically. It doesn't have to be something big. It could just be something that the party kind of has the chance to interact with in a small way or in a big way. Maybe they want to spend a session there running off these bandits, or figuring out how they can get some of this crop for themselves to like use in some of their magic or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Or maybe they find out that the bandits aren't actually that big of a threat, but they've convinced the town that they're these powerful illusionists using like these powerful necromancers, because they have some of the bandits dress up like they're the dead, and they walk in under their control, and they're like, "We'll bring your dead to life. Look what we can do." And it's all just a sham. And then the party's like, "Well, we'll take care of these guys." And the guy's like, "Wait. We take in a lot. There's a reason we've been doing this for so long. We'll send you some of it if you let us keep doing this. We don't hurt anybody. It's just like we just tax them." Even if your parties don't go for it, it gives them I mean, obviously some parties probably would go for it, but it gives them the chance to be moral and say no, like, we're shutting this down. But it doesn't. But the bandits don't have to be like evil. I mean, they are evil because they're stealing from people, I guess, but they don't have to be like killers. They can just be clever hucksters, and that could be a fun sort of story for them to kind of tease out just by talking to people and stuff like that. They could literally be the sticky bandits, or the red bandits, or something like that, if you can go with the red jar idea. Kind of like that. I'll have to try that out. Yeah, no problem. Hope that helps. This is a Mac app called Ulysses. I like it because it, well, like the note says, I like writing in Markdown because it doesn't, I don't have to format anything. Or rather, I can't format anything beyond like, this is a heading, this is a list. And that tends to help my sort of writing style a lot. Keeps distractions from like how things are sized out of my way. What's up, Traveling Knight? Falling potions are crafted by DM. Oh yeah, what's the new starter set gonna be? That's fun. Is there any, like, broadly speaking, what's the adventure? Do you know? Hope it's not a bunch of crazy critters in a cottage. That would be awkward. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it sounds like a good change, but or like a lot of good stuff that people benefit from. It really just depends. I mean, when they do tokens, monster cards, handouts, like, you know, they can probably do that in a pretty cheapish way. But yeah, you're right. It might be more. I've been going back and forth because as I'm laying all of this out, trying to think about how I would handle when running this, how I would handle magic item descriptions, because what I'm trying to decide is whether I want to go all in on the idea of these things need to be sort of experimented with to understand them, or that they are sort of explained with sort of tags, right? Sort of in the moment, like which is more fun. And it kind of feels like it may be more fun to leave the descriptions and the identification of these items vague until they learn about them. So maybe they have like a title that sort of clues you into what they do, and if you find more information in the cottage, then you can understand the item. Or if somebody has the ability to identify, or some means by which to derive the information, they could learn it from a check, and that could be fun too. I think that'd probably be the best way to do it. I think that'd probably be the best way to do it. So now I'm leaning toward not having that note, or maybe I don't like maintaining two different versions of item descriptions. Sorry to hear that, T, but it's okay to take a break sometimes, right? I mean, it's only as of last night that I'm feeling halfway decent about my cottage. I thought that I'd just... And I still think I could probably make a better version of it that's smaller. It's not so big, but I think it'll still look good and photograph well, so I don't hate it now. And that's only as of last night. I relate to that. Too ambitious. On the other hand, you could spend months trying to... Yeah, no, you're probably making the right call. What's HTTYD? Sorry. Now I got it. I think I almost had it. I was like kind of rifling through like what are T's favorite things? Yeah, Ashley probably could. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. If you want to send it over, maybe for a laugh, I'll try doing a set of them sometime on stream. Can't be harder than... Actually, I'm sure it can be harder than plenty of stuff I know how to do. But I'm happy to try. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, yeah, just DM it to me direct, and I'll save it. I don't think you can make a thread, unfortunately, in DMs between two people, but I'll take it. Ugh, just looked at the time. Okay, getting lost in my writing here. Let me call it there for now. Definitely getting some good stuff done here. I feel like I really added or removed a ton, just a lot of shuffling. Yeah, okay, a couple hundred words added. Item descriptions and whatnot. Thanks, yeah, I can see those coming through. I appreciate, I mean, obviously, everything, all your hard work. Super cool. I play D&D with my Abjuration Wizard tonight. So I'll be on after that. Hopefully not too late. We'll see. And working on the cottage, I think. Maybe coming back to this. I don't know. We'll see what I feel like doing. If I feel like writing or crafting, even though I've got my window design for the cottage. I've got a door kind of in place. So I'm kind of excited about pushing that forward. I feel like I need to like catch up with my terrain to catch up with where the one shot is. Yeah, thanks everybody for checking in. Excuse me. Hope everybody has a great evening. Drop in the Discord in there for any lurkers. My stream schedule, which is due for an update, but that's where I tend to try to keep up with. And obviously, if you choose to support, like all the awesome people on the table, you can always grab a brick by becoming a channel supporter. Thanks again, everybody, and I'll be back on here in a few hours.